Welcome back, guys. Thanks for joining me for another beer review. If I look a bit pale, I have been sanding down today, so I could be a little bit dusty. I've looked in the mirror. I don't think I'm major, but maybe a little bit of dust around the old face. Anyway, we are back with another beer review. Hope you're all well. Hope you've all had a good day. And what we are looking at now is another one of my brew export purchases. It's from a brewery that I've had a beer from before, actually, which was the first one I had from them was actually from this order that I've done with Brew Export. And we are heading back to Trillium Brewery, who are out of Boston, Massachusetts. And we are taking a look at their Pier Pale Ale, which is coming in at 6.7%. And there we go. I'll just spin the can around nice and slowly so you can see it. Very nice and simple artwork. Do like it. Looks nice and classy. There we go. So, is it going to tell me anything? Not really. It doesn't really tell me much on the back. No, just drink cold, keep fresh. And it's an American pint can, which is 473ml. This come in at about, don't quote me on this, I could be totally wrong, about £7 for the can. Yeah, expensive. Trillium are supposed to be a fantastic brewery, and the beer I've had of theirs already I thought was really decent. You also know that you're going to pay good money for a beer that's been imported. So let's stop talking. It's nice and chilled. Let's get it cracked open. I am nice and thirsty. Hopefully that's not going to make me gush about this beer even more. And hopefully it's everything I say is not going to be because I'm thirsty. It's going to be because the beer is damn good. So let's get it poured and see what we get. I fully expect it to be decent. I'm hoping it's going to maybe be along the line, sort of quality wise, of Steady Rolling Man from Daya. I'll give the can a bit of a swill, but I will leave a gap in there, so there is still some in the can, and that looks very decent indeed. I wouldn't say it looks as heavy as I was sort of thinking, or maybe even as dense, but yeah, you can't see through it. A little bit sort of murky, you could say, but that could be the light. It's sort of orange, an orange murky sort of look, and we got about half a finger on top. So yeah, still looks like a decent beer. Let's dive in. I can't see any bubbles. Let's dive in. Oh wow, I can smell that from here. Oh, that is gorgeous. That is absolutely gorgeous. Pineapple with a little dank note in there for me. Tropical fruits. It's like a fruit bowl with a pineapple being the big sort of note in it. A lovely dank mustiness about it. It smells bloody gorgeous, that really does. Oh, it's another one that's just put a smile on my face. This has to taste decent. It cannot taste bad. It smells too good. It smells delightful. And people may say, why'd you spend all this money on beer? Or they might wonder why you spend so much on a beer. The fact that I'm just sniffing that and I'm getting excited about it, that looks amazing. So let's dive in. Trillium Brewing out of Massachusetts, and their Pier Pale Ale coming in at 6.7% ABV from Brew Export UK. Cheers. Oh, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. The first impression, well, apart from that initial sort of like, wow, that's really good, does seem a little bit light. Now, maybe you wouldn't expect a pale ale to be heavy, but at 6.7%, I was certainly expecting a bit more weight to the beer. That said, it's still very decent. It's by no means thin. Yeah, it's not thin, but I would say it's quite light for 6.7%. Oh, it's got beautiful dankness to it. Yeah, quite light for 6.7, I'm going to say. Carbonation is minimal, but you do feel it. I'm not going to say it ruins the mouthfeel, but you certainly get that spiky fizz, which Personally, I would have liked to have it a little bit smoother, but it's certainly not really killing the beer or ruining the body, the drinking experience. I don't think it feels as soft as I was sort of expecting as well. But again, that little bit of busyness with the carbonation, and it isn't much, and that lighter body, it's sort of, I don't know, how can I say it? Some beers, the water quality of it really feels really soft, and this doesn't seem to have that. That said, it doesn't mean they use any different water. It's probably all the same water, but it just doesn't feel as soft. But you could say they're bad points, or it feels a little bit over carbonated, which it ain't. It doesn't feel so soft, or the body feels thin. But I mean, if they're the bad points, this beer makes up for that in taste. This has everything going on, and there's definitely things developing the more you drink it, and the beer develops as you're drinking it. You know, you get bits at the start, bits in the middle, bits at the end. It's juicy, it's pineapple. The more I've drunk of it, you start getting a gentle bitterness coming along. Initially you weren't getting that so much, it was kind of sweet and dank, whereas now the dankness is kind of taking a back seat, and there's a little bit of bitterness coming in. So yeah, it starts off kind of juicy with a little bit of bitterness. I've got a cat in the background making the noise. Yeah, that dankness is still there, but it's taking sort of like a back seat. And for me on the back end, that bitterness just gets a little bit more, and you start picking a grapefruit note up. But my word, it is, I mean, it is so juicy. It's really juicy without being sort of like thick, chewy juicy in flavour, if you know what I mean. There is everything going on in here. It's an absolutely belter of beer. And it's a shame we don't get more like this over here. I'm not saying we have rubbish beer over here. We have very good beer. But somehow, I just find American craft beer seems to be more full on. Also I think you get sort of like orange juice in there. And it really does feel like orange juice. I'd like to think it's not been put in there. But you definitely get that sort of feel of freshly squeezed orange juice. The 6.7%, you don't get it as such. Well, actually, I'm not going to say you don't get it. I think you do get it. But I think you get it in a way that you would expect a 6.7% beer. It's not overly offensive on that sort of alcohol taste, but you do know it's stronger. Pardon me. There's some of the carbonation coming back up. You do know it's stronger. It's definitely got bolder flavours that point that strength out. But it's also got quite a bit of bitterness to it, which, as I always say, repeat myself again, I think the bitterness can make a beer feel sort of stronger as well. A bit more gas coming, excuse me. Yeah, I mean, you know, should I expect a thick sort of heavy pale ale? I don't know. You know, maybe that's just left for the IPAs and double IPAs. So if it's not really supposed to be a big, thick, heavy one, that is what it's doing. If a pale ale is supposed to be that bit lighter, even in body, it's doing its job. But yeah, it's a decent drop, and it is well worth picking up. Yeah, it's a lot of money. I mean, the only sort of comparison to me for what I've had is Steady Rolling Man. How much are you going to pay for a Steady Rolling Man? I don't know. Is that beer still the same as it used to be? That was 5.2% as well. And I think I remember Scott Reviews Things said he was paying something like £6, and we're going back during COVID times where he was. I picked it up for about £5.50 then, where I am, or £5. So there's a good chance that's gone up. So there probably isn't a huge amount of difference between the price of this and Steady Rolling Man, and they're probably, it's been ages since I've had it, but I would say they're probably on a par with each other. This could be even slightly better. I don't know. It's been that long since I've had it, but yeah, decent drop. If you've had this beer before, let me know your thoughts. Is it worth going for? Yeah, it's a decent drop, so I can't knock it for that. If you're feeling flush and you fancy treating yourself to Brew Export, go and give it a go. And like I say, if you've had it before, let me know your thoughts on it. Thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you again soon on another one. Cheers.